The sheriff showed up at my door on a Tuesday morning with an eviction notice. I looked at the paperwork. My parents' names, their lawyer's signature, a court date in 30 days. They were trying to evict me from my own house. The house I'd been paying the mortgage on for 7 years. The house I'd put a new roof on. The house where I'd replaced the HVAC, renovated the kitchen, fixed the foundation. My house. Except technically, legally, the deed was in my parents' names. A decision made when I was 23 and couldn't qualify for a mortgage on my own. They'd agreed to put the house in their name while I made all the payments. For 7 years. Now they'd won $15 million in the state lottery and decided they wanted the house. Not to live in. Just to have. To give to my sister Vanessa, who already had the penthouse they'd bought her. I called my father. "What is this?" I asked. "We need the house," he said. "Vanessa wants a place outside the city. Somewhere quieter. Your house would be perfect for her." "My house," I repeated, "that I've been paying for 7 years. The deed is in our name," he said. "Legally it's ours. We're giving you 30 days to find somewhere else." He hung up. I stood in my living room holding the eviction notice. The living room I'd painted myself, the floors I'd refinished, the windows I'd replaced. 7 years of my life. 7 years of mortgage payments. And they thought they could just take it. I called a lawyer that afternoon. 6 months later, the judge didn't just rule in my favor. He laughed at them. Actually laughed. Let me take you back, because this story isn't about a lottery or a house. It's about learning that money reveals who people really are. And sometimes the legal system is the only thing standing between you and family who'd steal everything you've built. If you've ever trusted family with something important only to have them betray you, if you've ever been treated as less than a sibling despite giving more, if you've ever had to fight for what was rightfully yours, this story is for you. Growing up, I was the responsible one. Vanessa was 3 years younger and our parents' favorite from birth. She was the pretty one, the charming one, the one who got what she wanted by smiling. I was the worker, the one who did chores without being asked, the one who got a job at 16 and contributed to household expenses because money was tight, the one who skipped college because we couldn't afford it and went straight to work instead. Vanessa went to a private university. Our parents took out loans to pay for it. Loans they complained about constantly but paid anyway, because Vanessa deserved the best. I deserved to figure it out. At 23, I was working as an assistant manager at a retail store, making $32,000 a year, living in a studio apartment, saving what I could. I wanted to buy a house. Nothing fancy, just something that was mine. A small 3-bedroom in a decent neighborhood came on the market. Foreclosure. Listed at $90,000. A steal. I had $15,000 saved for a down payment. But my credit wasn't established enough for a mortgage. I'd been working for only 5 years, had 1 credit card. The bank said no. My parents offered to help. They'd put the house in their name, co-sign the mortgage. I'd make all the payments. Eventually, when my credit was better, we'd transfer the deed to me. It seemed reasonable. They were my parents. I trusted them. We went to a lawyer, drew up an agreement. I'd pay the mortgage, taxes, insurance, all maintenance. They'd hold the deed temporarily. When the mortgage was paid off, or my credit improved enough to refinance, they'd transfer ownership. Simple, clean, family helping family. I bought the house. $92,000 after closing costs. Mortgage payment was $640 a month. I paid it religiously. Never missed a payment. Not once in 7 years. Set up auto-pay from my checking account. Watched the balance go down every month. Watched the equity build. This was my future, my security, my proof that I could do this on my own. I also put money into the house. A lot of money. More than I probably should have given my income, but I wanted it to be perfect. The roof was original from 1978. Leaking in 3 places. Had to replace the whole thing. $12,000. Saved for 8 months to afford it. The HVAC died the second winter. Woke up to a house that was 42 degrees. Emergency replacement. $8,000 for a new system. Put it on a credit card and paid it off over a year. The kitchen was from the 1970s. Avocado green appliances. Laminate counters peeling up. Cabinets falling apart. I renovated the whole thing myself with help from YouTube tutorials and weekend trips to Home Depot. Materials cost $15,000. Took me 6 months of weekends. New cabinets, granite counters, stainless appliances, tile backsplash. Did most of the labor myself to save money. The foundation had a crack that was letting water into the basement. Structural engineer said it needed to be fixed immediately. $5,000 to repair. Terrifying moment when I thought the whole house might be compromised. But I fixed it. New windows throughout because the originals were single pane, and my heating bills were astronomical. $7,000. New hardwood floors to replace the stained carpet. $4,000 in materials. Installed them myself over 2 weekends. Fresh paint in every room. Did it myself. Every wall. Every ceiling. Every trim piece. I put probably $50,000 into that house on top of the mortgage payments. Plus 7 years of sweat equity. Weekends spent on repairs. Nights spent learning how to fix things. It was mine in every way except the paper. Vanessa, meanwhile, graduated college with a degree in communications. Got a job at a PR firm making $40,000. Lived in a nice apartment our parents helped pay for. Then she got engaged to a guy named Derek who came from money. Had a big wedding our parents contributed to, despite still paying off her student loans. Then she got divorced 2 years later, moved back to an apartment our parents helped pay for again. She was 28 and had never supported herself fully. I was 30 and had been supporting myself since 16. But somehow she was still the one who needed help. Who deserved help. Who got help. Then my parents won the lottery. $15 million. State lottery. Random ticket my father bought at a gas station. The odds were astronomical, but they hit. After taxes, they took home about $9 million. $9 million. More money than our family had seen in generations. They called me to tell me I was happy for them. Genuinely happy. They'd worked hard their whole lives, struggled. This was a chance to relax, enjoy life, maybe help the family. They helped Vanessa first. Bought her a penthouse in the city. $2 million. 3 bedrooms. Dorman building. View of the skyline. She'd always wanted to live somewhere fancy. Now she did. They also paid off her student loans, $60,000, and gave her a monthly allowance of $5,000 for living expenses, so she could focus on finding herself, on healing from her divorce, on being happy. They told me about all of this at a family dinner 3 weeks after winning. Vanessa was glowing, showing photos of her penthouse on her phone. My parents were beaming, proud to give their daughter everything she'd ever wanted. I waited for them to mention me, to offer something, maybe pay off my mortgage. It was only about $40,000 left after 7 years of payments, or help with some repairs, or just acknowledge that I'd been the one who never asked for anything, who'd worked and saved and built something on my own. They didn't mention me. The dinner ended. We said goodbye. I drove home to my house. The one in their name. The one I'd paid for. The one they hadn't offered to help with at all. A month later, the eviction notice came. No warning. No conversation. Just a sheriff at my door with paperwork saying I had 30 days to vacate. I called my father. That conversation I told you about. Vanessa wanted a place outside the city. My house would be perfect, quieter, good neighborhood. She could use it as a weekend retreat, or rent it out for passive income, or just have it. Because why not? They had the money, and technically, legally, the deed was in their name. I couldn't believe it, couldn't process it. 7 years of mortgage payments, $50,000 in improvements, my life in that house, my sweat, my money. And they were giving it to Vanessa, who had a $2 million penthouse, who had never paid a bill in her life, who had been handed everything while I scraped and saved and built from nothing. They were taking my house because they could. Because the paper said it was theirs. Because Vanessa wanted it. I called a real estate lawyer, explained the situation. She listened carefully. Asked if I had documentation. I had everything. The original agreement we'd signed with a lawyer. Bank statements showing every mortgage payment coming from my account. Receipts for every repair and renovation. Photos of the before and after. 7 years of proof that this house was mine in every way except the deed. She smiled. They don't have a case, she said. This is textbook resulting trust. You paid for the house. You maintained it. You have documentation. The fact that the deed is in their name doesn't matter when there's clear evidence of an agreement that you would own it. She filed a response to the eviction, then filed a countersuit. We claimed resulting trust, unjust enrichment, and breach of oral contract. We asked the court to transfer the deed to me and award damages for the attempted wrongful eviction. My parents' lawyer responded with a motion to dismiss, said the deed was clear. Their names, their property. End of story. The judge scheduled a hearing. The hearing was 6 months after the eviction notice. 6 months of stress, of uncertainty, of not knowing if I'd lose everything I'd built. My parents showed up with their lawyer. Expensive suit. Confident smile. They had the deed. They had the title. They had the law on their side. Or so they thought. I showed up with my lawyer and 4 boxes of documentation. Bank statements. Receipts. The original agreement. Photos. Emails discussing the arrangement over the years. Texts from my mother thanking me for keeping up with the house. Everything. My lawyer presented our case first. Explained the agreement from 7 years ago. Showed the documentation of every payment I'd made, every repair I'd funded, every improvement I'd done myself. Showed that my parents had contributed nothing to the mortgage after the initial purchase. That I'd paid over $60,000 in mortgage payments plus $50,000 in improvements. That the house had nearly doubled in value due to my work, from $92,000 to about $180,000. That my parents were now worth $9 million and were trying to take a house from their daughter who'd worked for everything she had. Their lawyer argued that the deed was clear. That whatever informal arrangement existed didn't matter because the legal ownership was established. That I was essentially a tenant who'd been paying rent and making improvements voluntarily. That my parents had every right to their property. The judge listened, asked questions, looked through the documentation. Then he turned to my parents. "Let me understand this," he said. "You won $15 million. Bought your other daughter a $2 million penthouse, and now you're trying to evict this daughter from a house she's been paying for since she was 23? My father started to answer. The judge held up a hand. "I've seen the agreement. I've seen the bank statements. I've seen 7 years of mortgage payments from her account. I've seen $50,000 in documented improvements. And you're sitting here telling me this house is yours because your name is on the deed?" He shook his head. "This is one of the clearest cases of resulting trust I've ever seen. The deed may be in your name, but the equitable ownership is clearly hers. She paid for it. She maintained it. She improved it. You contributed nothing after the initial purchase. You're millionaires trying to steal a house from your own daughter. He actually laughed then. Not a big laugh. A disbelieving chuckle that echoed in the quiet courtroom. The kind of laugh that escapes when you can't believe what you're hearing. He shook his head, looked at my parents over his glasses. I've seen a lot of family disputes over property in my 23 years on this bench. Parents trying to protect assets from creditors. Children trying to claim inheritance before parents have passed. Siblings fighting over vacation homes. But this might be the most egregious attempt at unjust enrichment I've seen in my entire career. You won $15 million in the lottery. $15 million. You bought your other daughter a $2 million penthouse, and your response was to try to take this daughter's house? A house she paid for with her own money for 7 years? A house she put $50,000 of improvements into? A house worth less than 1% of your winnings? He paused. Let the silence sit. My father shifted in his seat. My mother was staring at the table. I've read the text messages your daughter submitted as evidence, the judge continued. Messages where you thank her for keeping up with the house, where you acknowledge it's her house, where you discuss the eventual deed transfer. And now you're in my courtroom arguing that because your name is on a piece of paper, none of that matters? He took off his glasses, rubbed his eyes, put them back on. I want to be very clear about what I'm seeing here. This is not a property dispute. This is a betrayal. A family betraying their own daughter because they suddenly have money and think they can take whatever they want. That's not how the law works. That's not how equity works. That's not how anything works. My father's face was red. My mother was looking at her hands. Vanessa wasn't there. Probably in her penthouse. Their lawyer was shuffling papers, trying to find a response. Your Honor, he started, the deed is clear. The deed is irrelevant when there's a resulting trust, the judge said. Which there clearly is here. The documentation is overwhelming. I'm granting the plaintiff's motion. The deed will be transferred to her name within 30 days, and I'm awarding damages of $25,000 for the wrongful eviction attempt and associated legal fees. He looked at my parents. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You have $9 million and you tried to take a $90,000 house from your daughter. Who paid for it? Who lived in it? Who trusted you? He gathered his papers. We're done here. I walked out of that courtroom with my lawyer beside me. My parents tried to talk to me in the hallway. My father said they didn't know it would go this way, that their lawyer had said they had a strong case, that they were sorry. My mother said maybe we could work something out. Split the difference. I looked at them. These people who'd raised me, who I'd trusted with my house, who'd tried to take everything I'd built and give it to my sister who already had a penthouse. We're done, I said. Don't contact me again. I walked away. They called after me. I didn't turn around. Got in my car. Drove to my house. My house. The one that would officially be in my name in 30 days. Sat in my living room. The one I'd painted. The floors I'd refinished. The windows I'd replaced. And I cried. Not because I was sad. Because it was over. Because I'd won. Because the legal system had seen what my parents really were and called it out. Because the judge had laughed at them. The deed transfer happened 28 days later. I held the document with my name on it. Finally, after 7 years. Mine. The $25,000 in damages covered my legal fees with some left over. I put it toward the remaining mortgage, paid it off completely, owned the house outright. No mortgage, no debt. Just mine. Vanessa called me 2 weeks after the ruling. I can't believe you took them to court, she said. Over a house. They tried to evict me from a house I paid for, I said. So you could have it as a weekend retreat. You have a $2 million penthouse. That's different, she said. That was a gift. And my house was mine. That I earned. That I paid for. That they tried to steal. You're tearing the family apart, she said. They tore it apart when they tried to take my house, I said. I just refused to let them. She called me selfish. Said I'd always been jealous of her. That I couldn't stand to see her happy. That our parents had made a mistake, but I should forgive them. They were family. I told her she'd never worked for anything in her life, never paid her own bills, never built anything herself. She had a penthouse because our parents handed it to her. I had a house because I'd paid for every inch of it. We weren't the same. We'd never be the same. And I was done pretending we were. She hung up. I blocked her number, then blocked my parents' numbers, then blocked my mother's email. Cleaned house, literally and figuratively. Made my house truly mine. No family photos with them in it. No memories of them on the walls. Just my space. My life. My future. It's been 2 years since the court ruling. I still live in my house. Paid off. Value has gone up to about $220 now. I've made more improvements. New deck. Landscaped the backyard. Made it beautiful. Made it mine. I hear through relatives that my parents are still upset. Still tell people I betrayed them. That I chose money over family. That I'm ungrateful for everything they did for me. They conveniently leave out the part where they tried to evict me from my own house to give it to my sister who already had a penthouse. They leave out the part where the judge laughed at them. Vanessa still has her penthouse. Still gets her monthly allowance. Still hasn't worked a real job since her divorce. She's 32 and has never supported herself. I'm 35 and have been supporting myself since 16. We're not the same. We never were. Our parents made that clear when they bought her a penthouse and tried to steal my house, when they gave her everything and took from me the only thing I had. Do I regret taking them to court? Never. Not for a second. They would have taken my house. Given it to Vanessa. Left me with nothing after 7 years of payments, after $50,000 in improvements, after trusting them with the most important thing I owned. The legal system protected me when my family tried to destroy me. The judge saw the truth, called it out, laughed at their audacity. That laugh was worth more than the $25,000 in damages. It was validation, proof that I wasn't crazy, that what they did was wrong, that the world could see it even if they couldn't. I'm 35 now, own my house outright, worth over $200,000, have savings, a good job, a life I built entirely myself, no lottery winnings, no penthouse gifts, no monthly allowances, just work, discipline, persistence. Everything they tried to take, I kept. Everything they tried to give to Vanessa, I earned on my own. The house is mine. The deed has my name. And the memory of that judge laughing at my parents reminds me every day that justice exists, even when family tries to destroy you. If you've ever trusted family with something important only to have them betray you, this is for you. If you've ever been the responsible child who got nothing while the favorite got everything, this is for you. If you've ever had to fight in court for what was rightfully yours, this is for you. Don't let anyone take what you've built. Not family. Not anyone. Document everything. Keep records. Trust but verify. And when they try to take from you, fight back. The legal system exists for a reason. Use it. I did. And I won. Not just the house, but my freedom from people who would have stolen everything I had without a second thought. Tell me in the comments, has family ever tried to take something you'd earned? Did you fight back or let it go? I read every story. And if you want more stories about people who refuse to let family steal their futures, subscribe. Sometimes the most important document isn't the one they hold, it's the one that proves who really paid. The judge laughed at them. I hope you never need a judge to laugh at your family, but if you do, make sure you have the receipts. I did. And that made all the difference.